The world told you that strength looks a certain way. Loud. Visible. Performing itself constantly so that nobody forgets it is there. You were shown images of men who announce their power through size and aggression and the volume of their presence. And somewhere along the way you absorbed the idea that a man who is not seen is a man who does not matter. This is the most expensive lie most men ever believe. Because the truth about genuine power, the kind that actually changes outcomes in your life, the kind that earns real respect, rather than performed deference, the kind that holds under pressure, rather than collapsing the moment the audience disappears, looks almost nothing like what you were shown. It is quiet. It is precise. It moves without announcement. And the men who have mastered it are the most dangerous people in any room they enter. Not because anyone can see what they carry, because no one can stay until the very end. Because the final principle in this video will reframe every idea you have ever had about what it means to be a powerful man. The visible warrior performs his strength. He needs the room to know what he is capable of. He needs people to understand the cost of crossing him. He needs the reputation to precede him so that the work of being taken seriously is already done before he speaks. And here is the hidden cost of all that visibility. The visible warrior can be prepared for. He can be read. He can be managed. He can be flattered into lowering his guard. He can be provoked into revealing exactly where his limits are. He is, in the most strategic sense, predictable. And predictable power is containable power. The invisible warrior has none of these vulnerabilities. Not because he hides himself, because he has no need to perform what he is. And the person who does not perform their strength gives away nothing about where it lives. In the next 20 minutes we are going through what the invisible warrior actually is. How he thinks. How he moves. What he has built inside himself that makes the performance unnecessary. And how any man can begin building the same thing. The first thing to understand about the invisible warrior is what he has and does not have. He does not have the need for acknowledgement. Most men carry this need without fully recognizing it. The specific hunger for other people to register that they are present, that they are capable, that they are not to be taken lightly. This need is so common, so deeply embedded in how most men move through the world, that most do not notice it operating until something fails to satisfy it. The invisible warrior has done something rare with this need. Not suppressed it, examined it, traced it back to its source, understood what it was actually asking for and why no external acknowledgement was ever going to provide it. And having understood that, built a different source for the same thing. Not from the room. From the interior. From the private accumulation of evidence that he is who he believes himself to be. Not because anyone confirmed it. Because he has lived it quietly. In the decisions nobody watched. In the standards maintained when no standard was required, in the work completed when incompletion would have cost nothing visible. That is the source the invisible warrior operates from. And it is both more reliable and more durable than anything the room can provide. The second thing that defines the invisible warrior is his relationship with silence. Not silence as passivity. Silence as strategy. Most men in any given conversation fill more space than necessary. They speak to confirm their intelligence. They argue to confirm their position. They explain to confirm their worth. Each of these is a form of spending. From an account they are quietly worried might be insufficient. The invisible warrior is not worried about the account. He knows what it contains. And because he knows, he does not need to demonstrate. He speaks when words add something that silence cannot. He does not speak when words would cost him more than they return. This precision with language produces something that most men never generate through volume. Wait. When the invisible warrior speaks, a room shifts. Not because of what he has said before. Because of the quality of economy he brings to language. Every word he uses carries the implicit evidence that he considered not using it. And that consideration makes what he says more credible than anything surrounded by noise. The third thing about the invisible warrior is how he handles disrespect. This is where most men reveal everything. The moment someone publicly underestimates them, dismisses them, or delivers a comment designed to establish a hierarchy, the visible warrior responds immediately. He cannot help it. His value is tied to the room's assessment of him, and the room has just made a damaging assessment that must be corrected. The invisible warrior does something that initially looks passive and is actually devastatingly effective. He lets the disrespect sit. He does not correct it. He does not defend against it. He continues at the same pace with the same quality he was already operating at. And he waits. Because he already knows something the person who delivered the disrespect does not know. That outcomes are the only authority worth respecting. And outcomes announce themselves in time. Without his help. Without his defense. Without any requirement that he spend a single unit of energy managing what the room currently thinks. Marcus Aurelius governed the largest empire in the world and faced contempt and political challenge every day of his reign. He did not respond to contempt with counter-performance. He responded to it by continuing to do the work. And the work was the response. It did not need to be announced. It was. The fourth thing about the invisible warrior is how he moves toward his goals. Most men announce what they are building. They share the vision before the foundation is laid. They collect the social approval that comes with a compelling plan and spend it on the feeling of having already moved. The invisible warrior understands that announcement costs him something he cannot afford to lose. The element of surprise. Not in a dramatic sense. In the practical sense that every person who knows your goal is a person who can form an opinion about whether you are on track, who can offer discouragement or competition or the subtle influence of their doubt at exactly the moment when your own resolve is most important. The invisible warrior builds in private. His goals are his own. His progress is his own. His failures are processed privately and returned to as information rather than broadcast as drama. And when what he has been building becomes visible, it arrives as something the room did not see coming. Not because he was hiding. Because he understood that the work was what mattered and the work did not require an audience. The fifth thing about the invisible warrior is his management of his own anger. Not suppression. Management. Anger is information. It tells you something has been crossed that you value. Something has been threatened that you are not willing to lose. Something has been done that violates a standard you hold. The visible warrior converts this information into display. Volume, aggression, the performance of being offended in ways that demonstrate the seriousness of the offense. The invisible warrior converts it into something far more useful. Clarity. He takes what the anger is telling him about what was crossed and uses it to make a decision. A real one. Not a reaction. A decision about what will and will not be tolerated going forward. About what the situation actually requires. About what he is going to do, not what he is going to feel loudly in front of others. Seneca wrote that anger is the most expensive emotion available to a man. It costs attention, credibility, strategic advantage, and the trust of everyone watching who was not the target. The invisible warrior spends nothing. He does not have to. And he never spends anger. He invests it instead in the cold, deliberate decision that changes the situation rather than just expressing his feelings about it. The sixth thing about the invisible warrior is his relationship with loyalty. The visible warrior performs his loyalty. He is loudly on your side in the rooms where it costs nothing. He associates himself publicly with the people who are winning. He signals his allegiances through visibility. The invisible warrior practices loyalty in the moments where it is expensive. The private conversation where he disagrees with the group. The decision to stay when leaving would be easier. The refusal to capitalize on the difficulty of someone he is committed to. These moments cost something real. And they are almost never witnessed by anyone except the people directly involved. They do not build a public reputation. They build something worth considerably more. A private one. The knowledge in the minds of very few specific people that when this man says he is with you, he means it in the moments that matter. That kind of loyalty is rare. And rare things command a value that common things cannot approach, regardless of how well they are marketed. The seventh principle of the invisible warrior, and the one that holds everything else in place, is this. He has already decided who he is. Not aspirationally. Not as a goal he is moving toward. As a settled fact that precedes every interaction and survives every outcome. This is not arrogance. Arrogance is the performance of certainty that is not actually felt. This is something quieter. The result of enough time spent in private examination that the question of who you are no longer requires external input to answer. Most men have not done this work. They are still looking to the outcomes of their lives to tell them what they are. If things go well, they are capable. If things go poorly, they are in doubt. The world will continue asking you to perform your power, to announce it, to display it in ways that are legible to people who were not paying close attention. And there will be pressure, real and constant, to comply. Because the room rewards compliance with visibility. But visibility is not power. It is the appearance of power. And the appearance depends on the audience. The invisible warrior has discovered something the visible performer has not yet found. That the version of strength that does not require an audience is the only version of strength that cannot be taken away. Build that version quietly, in private, without announcement, and let the outcome speak when they are ready. They will. If this described something you are building, subscribe. This channel is for men who have decided that quiet power is the only power worth building. Drop this in the comments if you are on this path. I build in silence.